Deuce Close. Mastering Madden.
Here's a fun mini scheme that you can use to stretch the defense horizontally and really put your opponent's user in a bind. This will work especially well against the heavy blitz meta that we've seen lately. And the play is, at least in the Oakland Raiders playbook, is in Y off trips weak. And it is motion halfback swing, and then we're going to use that as really the main backbreaker of this mini scheme that's going to force our opponent to, overcommit, whether it's with their user or with their coverage behind it. And then we'll kind of work in one of these plays behind it, most likely the motion pump and go. So we're just going to go with that. I have my audible set already, and then for the sake of demonstration, I want to show this with Nickel Blitz 2 and the heavy blitz setups that people are running off of it. But of course, this is going to translate to full coverage as well. So just for the purpose of demonstration. So it'll look something like this. This is, in my opinion, the best halfback screen in the game because, first of all, the halfback actually is able to get out of the pocket really, and then you can actually get the ball to him before you get sacked. And then you're using your tight ends and your wide receivers as the blockers, and while your offensive line kind of stays in there. So if things kind of take a little bit longer to develop, which they actually don't in this play, unlike the halfback screen, you're still going to have time in the pocket to throw that. And the blocking actually works out really good, especially in the case where your opponent's doing something that's isn't fundamentally gap sound. So when you look at the setup, something like pinching everybody, moving the slot defender way in right here, and then themselves, they're filling one of these gaps, whether it's the A gap or I don't even know if they're in a gap. I think they're kind of heads up on the guard or the center. So just like that, they'll probably be in a situation like this. So then, in order for your users already put in, your opponent's user is already put into a bind. So they need to be hovering over that guard to make the blitz really work properly, but they also need to be able to get out there in time for this screen. Not to mention what we're going to add on top of that. So assuming they don't get there in time, which is a lot of times the case, it is going to work out something like this. Throw the pass, you get 2 seal blocks, you can make this guy miss if you want, and then you're off to the races. Okay, so you're throwing it, first of all, in time that, well, first of all, you have an extra blocker in the tight end at the line of scrimmage, and then you're throwing it quickly so that the blitz will never come through anyway. And then the blocker's set up nicely like we just showed you there, and then you got yourself a really big play. And like I was saying, this is really going to be the main backbreaker that's going to force your opponent to really overcommit. So the couple ways that you can stop this swing pass, okay, one of them is kind of bizarre, but without it, this play could be really, really, really overpowered. But there's a few things that your opponent can do. From what I've seen from running it, because I've run this in the past out of the spread playbook, the ways that you can shut it down are if your opponent's running cover 3 and they run hard flats. So it'll be something like this. For whatever reason, hard flats don't get picked up by the blitz, and there you are, and there he is to make the play. So in that case, you always want to be prepared for the possibility of hard flats, and also cover 2 press hard flats. For whatever reason, they don't get blocked. So just like this, just like that, and he's right there. Now you can still throw that if things break down, and so you can just catch that and take your 0 yards and move on. Or you can try to scramble, and maybe you can actually playmaker the halfback up if you want, but that's that's obviously not something we want to do just in case things break down. If they're running regular Tampa 2 and they run hard flats, then they actually get picked up on the block. In that case, actually they didn't, but just speaking from experience, they get picked up a lot more, whereas press, they never get picked up. Backed off, they sometimes get picked up. But if they're running hard flats, then obviously there's things that we can expose them with, and that's something we can do down the road in this video. If they don't want to do hard flats, of course, they can go and use that themselves, just like that, and they can pick that off. If they have 2 hands, which I don't have right now. But that's exactly where we want to go with this scheme. Okay, once we hit our opponent once or twice with that swing, well, then they have to go and get that themselves. Okay, and like I was saying before, if they want to set up their blitz, just like this, everybody's coming in, and the blitz really is dependent on holding one of these guards for a split second so that this guy can come through untouched or what have you. So once you set the motion, say if we pick one of these plays, motion pump and go, which has actual passing routes off of it, once you set that motion and that user goes with it, he's already outside of the box, and you're already going to be able to pick up that blitz. Assuming you can hold up on the block sheds. Okay, so that's already going to negate that blitz. But off of that, we can do some interesting things. So this is just, I think it may sound idealistic, but just having run it, and I ran this against the crossfire blitz that used to be popular. It was really good against that as well, where you motion into one of these plays, and then you can do a number of things. You could say put your tight end on a streak, so that when and let's just simulate him out here. I don't know, let's man coverage him. Oh, he comes out there, and a tight end is free up the seam for a big play. Okay, because it's a kind of insane blitz where the only zone coverage is that user, and if this user's out here trying to cover that swing himself, that whole middle of the field is wide open. And so what I like especially to run this with, where I really like to run this is around here. This isn't something you're going to run all game long, but it's definitely something to mix in. So where you go like this, like that, they're running their super hot fire meta blitz. He's going to key on the running back. There's nobody in the middle of the field, and you got yourself the easiest touchdown ever. Okay, so this is something I've used time and time again against this, and it works. So maybe if you don't want to run it too much, if you don't want to really give away that, you can kind of hit them in the middle of the field with a swing, and then wait until you're closer to the end zone and hit them with the streak from the tight end. But you could actually do this all game long. Like, this is going to be tough for them. Other things, you obviously don't need the tight end. You can imagine a situation where you want that tight end to be into block just in case things break down and we want that extra blocker. Well, we can use the slot instead. And as soon as you have just a step, you just throw that and you turn that upfield. Maybe if you have, somebody with run after the catch potential, you can take that even further to Jerry Rice. And you only need a step. You're just looking for that hot read, and if that user defender just goes in enough, you're going to be able to hit that, and you're going to be able to take that upfield. Now, there are some unfortunate things about all this, of course. So say if the user stays home, if he's there in the A gap or the B gap holding the guard, and then he stays home on the slant, first of all, you can you can hit the regular screen, which we don't have to worry about the user. We can hit that. But this swing isn't great without the blocks. Okay, so say if we throw it early, just right here, the blocks don't work out well. Okay, because they're on routes, and even though the ball has been thrown to the swing, they're not looking for the blocker, and that soft squat or that cloud flat or whatever's going to be there is going to come through, and it's going to be tough for you. Other things about it, and I'm just going to show it with trying to get some time in the pocket. This is a bit of a bug, which I don't think has been reported. If we look at our running back here, he just keeps running away from the field. He's in the other practice field. So it's unfortunate because if you don't throw it to him right away, he's going to be pretty much useless. Okay, and also if you throw him a bit too late, like around here, he kind of does that, and it's not good. So if that's going to be one of your reads, you have to really throw it right away, which again, the blocking doesn't work, and it's kind of hard to turn it upfield with him. So it's really just a decoy to get the user out of the middle of the field, and then we can throw a quick slant, or we can throw, no, I didn't set it up right, or we can throw that quick seam from the tight end. Other nice things we can do, working off of that. Let's go ahead here. Let's go ahead and make this. You don't have to use that side. You can use the backside slant. Just wait for a second, you throw it there, and you turn that upfield. You're getting 10, 20 yards a pop, if not more, if you have, like I was saying, run after the catch potential. So a lot of things there. You know, you can hit the slot, you can hit the backside slant, you can hit the seam from this guy, all because there's no other zones in the middle of the field, and we are trying to take that user away with our swing. Now, if you're coming up against somebody that wants to stay home, and he's just going to use a hard flat to take care of that swing, well, then you have some options there. You can just, how do I want to show this? I think this is good, actually. So let's set this up. Motion this guy here. He just wants to stay home. He's going to send a hard flat on that side to take care of the swing. But then just a simple fade route, just like that. And you can get huge yards that way. Just show that again because I didn't like how he dropped the ball. Just like this, put him there, put him there. Let's get our hard flat. And let's go ahead and throw that. Can we spin this guy? No, it's somebody without good spin move, but if you have good spin move there, it's really just a matter of one spin and you're in for the touchdown. So a lot of options there, and like I set up there, you really have some options here where you can watch the user and you can throw the quick read to the slant, or you can watch the cornerback, and if he stays down on the hard flat, you can throw that quick read to the fade. So a lot of options. And then like I was saying, like I showed before, you know, the backbreaker is always going to be tough to block. You're up here. You got this motion swing. There's not enough players there. You got your blockers set up, and you're there for a big play. So, you know, after you run this maybe 10 times, maybe good players will start to pick up on things, but really, and of course we can also work in the number one from the strong side of our trips, like this, where if your opponent is going to key on the slant here, if they're going to key on the slant here, we can also throw this post route kind of right here. Or, you know, it could be a slant too if you want. Or it can even be a combination like a slant and then a deeper in right here, where he stays home on the slant and then you have the in right here. Things like that are always going to be an option for you. Okay, so that's really all I wanted to say. Try it out for yourself. Try out the motion halfback swing. The first few times that you're going to run it, it's going to be really, really good for you because your opponent's not expecting it. They're not going to run the hard flats there. They're not going to come out with the user. And then you're going to get those big gains like I showed you there. And then once they start to overcommit, throw those hot reads in, the quick slant from your backside wide receiver or from your slot or even from your number one on the strong side or just a simple vertical route from your tight end. As soon as you have a bit of a step, you're going to get those big yards. So really simple scheme, 2 plays. It's really just the screen and the passing plays that you can mix into your already good offense. You know, this doesn't need to be everything, but it's definitely something that's going to be really good against this heavy blitz meta. Okay, I hope you guys like that, and we'll go ahead and see you in the next one.